Did you think of any questions? Do you want me to go first?
I got one.
You got one.
I'm ready.
I've never not went first.
This is the first. I'm just breaking all the barriers.
We're breaking all the barriers.
First time live, first time not going first.
Yep.
I'm here for it all.
Let's do it.
All right. So what made you start a podcast? And not just any podcast, a military podcast?
No, that's an amazing question. I think veterans have such a big scope of mental health struggles, like, goal-oriented. Like, it's everything like times 10, I feel like. Like picking up your family and moving. So like leaving everything behind, leaving your parents and your siblings back home and all your friends.
Right.
Going to basic training, having a wingman. Just so many different things magnified that I feel like this isn't just for veterans. You know what I mean? I just talk to mostly veterans because, that's all I know right now in my life. But at the same time, I know that each and every person I talk to is a magnified version of the topic that a civilian would seek. So like if you had a civilian out there who was, looking into perseverance and getting over obstacles and accomplishing goals, maybe they're in college, your episode and what you've went through is like a way harder version than like just going through school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you already went through school. Like you were fully qualified and still couldn't quite do it because of all the obstacles.
Yes, I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not normal.
It's not. Especially, and I don't want to cut you off, but I can definitely agree because with me coming in at 25, I was able to, be in a career and then coming to the military and just see a difference in, how much harder it is in the military, especially the Air Force.
Yes. It's a balancing act. But yeah, why I started it is because I just love people's stories. I love getting to know them. I never forgot the stories I heard when I was a new airman in maintenance. I used to be age and being on the flight line and meeting people from all over the U.S. and just like why they joined. And I just never heard stories from like all these people that were like older than me. And it was really cool. And, I never forgot that. I never forgot those people. I never forgot those stories, those lessons. I always took that to heart. And then, I always wondered how I could exercise that more, do that for other people. Because I went through like a whole lot to get here. Wanted to quit 1,000,000 times at different points in my life.
Right.
Health issues and mental health issues and physical health and just, so I'm trying to basically get a message out there that I wish I had back then.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
So I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely.
Okay.
There's some points in there I'm like, oh. But
okay.
I like it.
Appreciate that. Now I got one for you.
Okay.
Okay. So who is the biggest mentor in your career thus far?
In my actual career?
Or just in general? Your biggest mentor?
My biggest mentor and biggest fan is definitely my husband.
Oh, that's awesome.
Absolutely. Any question I need answered, a lot of times I'm like, hey, babe, what's this? And he's just always answering. Even when it comes to writing, he's just always making sure that I am not only getting to the goal, but he puts me in a position to where I can exceed as well. Wow. And it's personal, it's professional, it's just overall in life, like he's definitely my biggest mentor and my biggest supporter. Like he believes in me more than I believe in myself most of the time.
That's amazing.
Yeah, even it's been times where I wanted to give up and he's I don't even know how to explain it, but he's pushed me to my highest, not my highest expectation, but my highest potential.
Yeah.
To potential that I didn't even knew that existed. It even started before coming to the military, because before I came into the military, I had to lose weight.
For real? I had to lose.
That
was what was preventing you from joining?
Well, it wasn't preventing, but it definitely was a hurdle.
Yeah, I could see that if you waited till you're 25.
Yeah.
Passing a PT test is not a thing on your radar.
Right, especially.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially when you're in your career,
Right.
So it's like, you're just going to work and, you're looking for just trying to help your patients and things like that. So that was actually one thing. And we juiced, we ran, and he literally pushed me.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
No, he's an awesome dude.
Thank you.
I met him through trying to brief the FVA.
I remember.
And I just kept bugging him, and then they're like, "Hey, you know that Sergeant Price's husband, right?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, "They do the same last name."
Hypothetically,
But yeah, like, I guess what threw me off about, like, our office in particular was, like, being just brand new and thrust into a COVID environment. Like, there wasn't a lot of opportunity to, like, barbecue and meet people.
Right. No, I
You know what I mean?
absolutely agree. Absolutely agree.
So, like, me arriving there at the midst of COVID, I didn't know y'all.
Right.
And there was really no good opportunity to sit down and just get to know each other.
Right.
There's no outings, there's no lunches, there's no going aways, there's no commanders.
None of that.
So it was like the most awkward time to PCS ever. But I did get to know your husband, and what I appreciated about him was I had to get his trust. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
he wasn't one to just be like, "Oh, Josh is cool, he's nice, he's my friend." It wasn't that easy. I had to, earn his trust.
Absolutely.
And I did that by going to his office and meeting him in person because I wanted to talk about the FVA. Plus, I just wanted to put a face to the name. And then after I met him, we just hit it off.
Yeah.
Like, I think I stayed for like an hour just talking.
He can talk too.
But one thing that stands out that I'll never forget is that the way he talked about you. Yeah. So, like, when you say he's your biggest fan, I definitely got that impression that he really, truly believed in you. And I thought that was really, really special. Just seeing the way he lights up around you, even when I ran into you at that horse thing.
Yeah.
Like, just so excited to just talk about you. And I mean, that's a beautiful thing. I'm very happy for you and that you guys have each other like that.
He's literally my best friend, seriously. And I miss him every day, if that makes sense. This is like the longest we've probably ever been. Well, the longest distance and the longest time so far. So this is our first deployment. But we're making it through it. I'm excited. And
You just hang in there.
We're hanging.
Hang in there. Find ways to communicate. You know what I mean? There we go. Okay, so it's back on you. You gotta ask me one. What do you got?
What advice would you give to a new airman who just came into the military on how to get to where you are now?
I don't know if they'd want to be where I'm at now. Honestly, I would say get past where I'm at. I want them to go in. So I went in with like too low of expectations, like of my skill set, of myself. Like I exuded confidence, but internally I was not confident.
But how old were you?
19.
So at that age, though.
But it hung around for a long time. It really did. Like, I started partying a lot, and drinking a lot, and eventually the drinking Josh was the confident Josh, but the sober at work Josh started like dropping in confidence, and you know what I mean. So like I wasn't growing, and so to get to where I'm at, I think most of them could easily get to where I'm at. I mean,
I don't know, Sergeant White. I don't know.
I would say invest in yourself. The earlier you invest in yourself, the earlier it clicks for you, the earlier you know what your strengths are and your weaknesses are.
True.
And the earlier you know where you want to go in life and what your purpose is, the earlier that clicks, the farther you're going to get.
I agree.
Because, like, by the time, I realized what I wanted, I'd been in, like, 11 years. You know what I mean? So, like, imagine if I had that kind of drive on year 2. Instead, I was just coasting.
Do you think that mentorship would have helped with that?
I think so. And I did have a few. I had a few, like, looking back, I had, like, key mentors at the times that I needed them that prevented me from quitting, I would say. I didn't have one consistently. You got to remember I was in the flight line, and the good old boys, thing was a thing back then. I don't know about now. I haven't been maintenance since 2012, but I am not a maintainer. Like, I'm not some like I don't listen to Kenny Chesney and go hunting. So like, so right there, I don't get it along with 9 out of 10 maintainers.
Right.
I don't have a dip. I don't dip.
Yeah.
But no,
That's a lot.
like I was, I dress nice and I like to talk and I like video games and like I was kind of like a nerd.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was looked at like a nerd.
Mm-hmm.
And at my first base, I partied like crazy and they pretty much gave up on me and my buddy Ronnie. He was like my best friend in the Air Force to this day. And he's still
amazing.
in. He's a master sergeant, so am I. But they gave up on us. They told us that we wouldn't be anything.
Wow.
Yeah, that we were failures. They made us clean the bathroom. Like, we were on bathroom duty with, like, full of cockroaches and, like, the most disgusting bathroom you've ever seen.
Oh, my gosh.
They're like, we're going to make y'all clean that for the entire time you're stationed here. And that was true. We actually did. But we had run laps around those people now. They couldn't hang. They couldn't accomplish what they set out. They couldn't walk the walk. Yet me and Ronnie, who got completely made fun of and given up on, had accomplished way more than they ever did. So yeah.
That's awesome.
I'd say the short answer of it all would just be, to me, looking back, I was missing purpose. That is what I was missing from goal setting, from believing in myself. It was purpose. I didn't have a purpose, and I didn't invest the time to know what purpose I had in life. And eventually you get to a point where if you don't know what your purpose is, you're going to be looking in the mirror like, who am I? Like, what am I doing?
Right.
Like, am I just going with the flow? That's like the worst feeling to me. So
Feeling stuck.
yeah, I would just say, like, invest in yourself and spend a lot of time finding your purpose. That would be the biggest advice I would have.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Thank you.
I like it.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay.
Next question.
So I got to think of one for you. Okay. So
Okay.
I usually ask really easy ones, but since you're asking me like really deep ones, now I'm like,
No, go easy on me.
okay. Here's one that I typically ask because I think it's really entertaining.
Okay.
So if there was a movie about you and your life,
Oh, Lord.
it was just like all about you, and you could pick any actress you wanted to play the role of you, who would you pick?
So this is a good question. It's a bad question.
Oh, snap. Okay.
It's
what's
a
up?
good question because just a thought of a movie about me. But the bad part of this question is that I don't watch a lot of TV. But if I could pick someone, I would have to say it would be maybe Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett. What has she played in?
She's played in Black Panther. She's played in How Stella Got Her Groove Back. She played in the What's Love Got to Do with It.
She's much older than you.
She is.
But she doesn't age. Like,
She doesn't. Like
No.
she's like beautiful.
No. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yes.
She's an American Horror Story too.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's like
Maybe.
it's like I don't know if you've ever heard of the show, but it's basically like a horror show putting people in nightmarish situations. It's really dramatic and it's really good. It's really well done. But she's in it.
Is she?
And she freaking kills
See
it.
what I'm saying? Everything.
Oh my God.
Like she is not just this one-stop shop.
Yeah.
She's so broad in everything that she can do. She doesn't age, like you said. And
She does not age.
I mean,
She
have you
looks
saw her arms?
phenomenal.
Like her arms are like nice. I'm like, Jesus. I mean, she has to be over 60
She's
for sure.
just built different.
She is, seriously.
Yeah.
And so if there's going to be one person who plays me, it's definitely going to be her because I feel that she's going to meet the standards and be able to relive everything I've done, even at the age that she's at now,
Yeah.
Even
That's amazing.
if I started like in high school playing basketball, I feel like Angela Bassett could play basketball.
She could play right now.
I feel like
and
she
probably
could.
just beat
Seriously.
us.
Exactly.
Like if
by
I was
herself.
like one-on-one, me and you, she would like dunk on me.
I'm almost certain. Yeah, me too. And you know what? I'm going to let her do it.
Yeah, I'll let her do it. Yeah, I'll give her a hug. Okay, so here's the last bonus question that I
Okay.
throw in there. I don't always throw it in, but I'm going to throw it in for you.
Okay.
What is your proudest Air Force moment? And I know that's a corny question, but you just never know what someone's going to say to that.
I would have to say my proudest. Oh my gosh.
Your proudest moment being an airman. It could be small. Can I give you an example real quick?
Yes.
One of mine, I never felt like a proud airman before, right?
Mm-hmm.
But on my flight to Japan, and this is just one of mine, and it's small, but I think it's also significant. On my flight to Japan, I was the only American on the flight.
Mm-hmm.
It was all Japanese passengers, right? And there was an old man, like Japanese people traditionally, you know, they live for a long time because they have a really good diet, right? So this man was clearly like in his 90s, probably around 100, very, very old man. And he was having trouble in the restroom. Like he like fell down or hurt himself or something. And they all looked to me to help him out. To this day, I don't know why.
Wow.
Because they couldn't speak English. So, or they chose not to. But they were all tapping me and telling me to go in there and help this man. And I was like, I felt like I was representing America or something.
Right.
You know, I was like, I gotta help this dude. Where is this dude? And I helped this dude. I cleaned him up. You know, I got him back to his seat. And it was really small, and no one will ever remember that.
I'm sure he will, and everybody on that plane will.
I hope so.
Exactly. That American.
I remember it because I was like, that was the first time I felt like depended on.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I felt proud to like fulfill that and be there for that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's just an example.
Okay.
There's also really obvious ones like
Yeah.
I was a 12 Outstanding Airman of the Year. So was my dad, and he was there with me.
What?
You know, I was a tech sergeant. When he won, he was a tech sergeant.
That's dope.
It was like, it was a story I heard about him my whole life.
Wow.
You know, I always heard the story where that award like changed his whole career, and he still had the award and the pictures.
Wow.
And then to have him next to me at the dinner table, you know, with General Ray sitting next to us. And, you know, I got emotional, you know what I mean? Because it was like, this is a story I heard about my whole life.
What's your dad's name?
Bill White.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, are you a junior? Are you like following in every footstep?
Pretty close. I'm not a junior though. He gave me a very biblical name, Joshua David White.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yep.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. So those are two stories, examples that I don't think I've ever shared. And
First time for everything.
We're breaking barriers. So with that being said, what is your proudest Air Force moment?
I would say that my proudest Air Force moment was when I graduated BMT.
Really?
Yeah.
Basic training.
Yeah.
Well, think about how, I'm thinking about it. You had to lose weight to get there.
Yeah.
You were probably relied on heavily because you were 25.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
you know what? Surprisingly, I wasn't the oldest. But there are, of course, a lot other younger individuals, ladies.
I'd say most of them were younger.
Yeah,
right?
a lot of them were a lot younger than I was. And so just getting through basic. Of course, you know, when you go through basic, they're trying to, of course, you know, mentally beat you up, physically, not physically like pow, but like, you know, like pushing you to be physically fit. And so just being able to do that, because I was, you know, just a couple of months ago, I'm about 200 pounds, you know, and just being able to go to that, get through that. I ended up graduating like the top 10%. So just to even just accomplish those small things, and that was a very proud moment for me. And especially like joining, because my dad, he was in the military as well, and so he was in the Army though. But just being able to follow in his footsteps, that made me really proud. Like, wow.
I think that is a good question. You joined at 25. Why at 25? And were you married then?
No, I was not married. We got married. We got married right after basic though. but we knew each
Okay.
other before that.
You knew each other before
Yeah.
that. Okay. Was he cheering you on to like get? Well, he was already in.
Yeah, he was already in.
He would have been. Yeah, he would have already been in.
Oh yeah, he was already in. He was actually stationed in Arkansas. I'm from Arkansas, of course, so that's how we ended up meeting at the Waffle House. So shout out to the Waffle House right here.
I love Waffle House.
I love Waffle House.
Oh
I'll
my
take
God.
Waffle House over IHOP any day.
Me too. I'm right there.
Give
with
me an
you.
all-star.
Yeah, I just go for the waffles.
The waffles?
Yeah. That's the only time I pig out on carbs like that because I know I'm
Waffle
going to be
House.
paying for it.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, but it's worth it sometimes.
But it's made with so much love.
It is.
You know?
Yeah.
So I love Waffle House. So.
I do too. It's got soul in there.
It does.
Yeah.
It's for real. And
It's all smoky in there too from all those hash
Exactly.
browns burning.
all the onions and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it.
The scrambled eggs with cheese.
Yeah.
I like it all.
So, what moment in basic was it when you were, released to your family? Like, what point were you like, I did it? Like, I killed it. I did it. I accomplished this goal. I can't believe I'm here right
Yeah.
now. Like, was it during training?
Or no,
or was it during graduation?
Yeah, it was definitely not during training because I remember the first time I talked to my parents, I'm like, why did I do this? I'm like, I'm crying like, why did I do this? I mean, I'm 25, but I think at the point I realized it was at when we graduated. And the run, you do the run.
That run
the
is
Airman's
like,
run. Yeah, and
that
so
run hits different.
you're running, but you're still looking, and then all of a sudden I see my family. They're like, and I'm like, trying not to.
And the chants.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Those are powerful.
They are.
Yeah, they just shake the whole room, know. And when you first did the chant, you guys were like so terrible at it, and then at the end, you're like, it just
It comes all together.
You say it with your chest,
Exactly.
And then that run were you guys wearing like a squadron shirt or flight shirt or something? Did you have that?
I think it was just PT.
It was just PT gear,
I believe.
So when I went through, we got to wear like our BMT shirt.
You know what? Maybe we did. I know we had a flight shirt, and then of course we had the squadron shirt too.
So I'm pretty sure you get to wear one of those
Maybe
for that
so.
run. If you remember that you could see each flight.
Maybe so.
Yeah,
Maybe
like,
so.
And it kind of looks like a I don't know, like warriors or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like each like tribes.
Uh-huh.
That's what I loved about it.
Yeah.
But I know exactly what you're talking about. I never thought I'd make it out of there.
Yeah.
Like I remember just being so like angry at myself for joining that.
Ditto. Yeah. I'm like, what?
That I'd be standing in Chow Hall and. At the time, there was murals of people graduating, and I wanted to punch every one of them in the face. I hated those people because I was so mad that I wasn't graduating.
Right. Yeah. No, I get it for real. But then once you get to where they're at, you're like the seniors, and you're
Yeah.
trying to like help them over here, help the freshmen, but like
It definitely builds resiliency.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I feel like I've been on humanitarians and like really like poor living conditions, and like after going through basic, which is basically you're treated like crap, and it's not fun at all.
Not at all.
You could basically live anywhere.
I believe so too.
You know what I mean? Like you could camp outside, you could get deployed or sent anywhere, and you could, knowing that it's going to end, you could get through it.
Yeah.
It gives you that confidence that you could just bed down anywhere and make it work.
Yeah. But you know what though? Okay. So I have a confession though.
Okay.
I was in Disneyland.
Say what now?
I was in Disneyland. So there's like there's Alcatraz. I think they call it Alcatraz or something.
I still to this day don't know what any of that crap means.
You don't want to know. So
What was your flight called? Like I was 323
I was a Wolfpack.
Wolfpack. Okay, I was
Yeah.
in a band flight.
Oh, nice. You play band? Well, not play band. You played an instrument?
It was an overflow.
Oh.
So I was the flight that did not play an instrument, but we were in the band flight.
Nice, right?
My buddy Ronnie was a guitar player. This is where I met my best friend Ronnie. We went to Age Tech School together for 6 months. Then we went to Guam together where he was my roommate, and then I was in a band with him.
What?
Shout out to Faded Memories.
Shout out to Ronnie.
Dude, Ronnie's the man, dude. You gotta meet this guy.
I really need to meet him. He
You do.
sounds awesome, seriously.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll send you his contact info.
Please.
Okay, but I want to hear about you, who you are, a little bit about your past, like where you grew up.
Okay.
We already talked about why you joined, so just your base experience, which is just Eglin, correct?
Yep.
So just a little recap on like your upbringing and your experience so far in the military.
All right. So, of course, my name is Deandra Price. I am from a little small town in Arkansas. Literally, people in Arkansas never even heard of this town.
Oh my God.
Yeah. We don't even have I love my town, obviously.
Right.
I love where I'm from. It's very peaceful there. but we don't have like any stoplights. We don't have like a store. I don't know if they have a store now. I don't think they have a store. No, it's super small, but it's home.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, I mean, I was in Missouri for a while, and my buddy lived in Arkansas, and so we did spend some time there.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminded me of Missouri. I mean, it was not that different.
Yeah.
Like a lot of farmland, a lot of small towns, right?
Ride four-wheelers.
Yeah.
They ride horses down there. I love the country living. Like even though I'm not there no more, but I love to go home and that's like my time to relax.
It's very calming.
It's very calming. It's peace.
Yeah, everything moves slower.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's not fast paced. Yeah.
I love that. I never thought I would, but I do enjoy that type
I think
of setting.
people need it, though.
Yeah.
To just slow down and just kind of get their thoughts together, and also just to relax and just decompress.
Definitely.
I enjoy it. So, yeah, that's where I'm from. Went to high school, this town called Malvern, Arkansas. I graduated from there. Went to college, of course. But I have a brother and a sister. They're both older.
What is that noise?
I don't know. I know. I was trying to ignore it. I don't know what that was.
I thought someone was choking. That wasn't
No.
Is that a demon?
Okay. They're still over there acting normal, so I'm guessing things.
Maybe it's louder to us.
Probably so.
Yeah, it sounds.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I think this place is haunted. I'm pretty sure that was a demon. Okay, sorry. Continue.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So yeah, my parents, they've been married 41 years. My brother, I got a brother who's 10 years older than me, a sister who's 5 years older than me. We're all 5 years apart. So, I went to college, of course. When I first got out of high school, I went to nursing school, and then I actually got my bachelor's when I was in the military.
You've just been killing it from day one.
It's all subjective. My husband, he always tells me that I downplay everything, and I don't think it's downplaying. I think it's just being humble and just being thankful of the opportunities and just even the things I've accomplished. It's just hard for me to to even just celebrate myself sometimes, But
I mean, that's why we're here right now. This is a celebration of you. I mean, really.
Kind of, yeah, it really is. No.
Yeah.
And so I where was I at?
You said your grandfather was in the Army?
My dad.
Oh, your dad.
Yeah,
okay.
my dad. Yep.
So your dad was in the Army. How was he about you joining the Air Force?
So, so when I first got to high school, I was like, oh, I might go to the Air Force. And, like me, I'm the baby. My parents, they didn't really talk me out of it. But with the way things were, they probably didn't want me to go. So I went to college and everything. And then that's when I later decided to join. And so they supported it. They definitely support it now. They see everything I'm accomplishing. And for my dad, I know he's really proud, and just the steps that I'm following. And then even with my mother, she's super proud, and even today she's just talking about just speaking into existence of where I'm gonna be in the near future.
Wow.
And so my parents are awesome, if I'm being honest.
Oh, that's fantastic.
They really are, and they've always supported anything I wanted to do. And that's what I really appreciate about them. And they've always had my back. And I think that I know that has helped to build who I am today. Like,
wow.
Absolutely.
That's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Yeah, the parents are huge with there's so many different approaches you could take. But, I think at the end of the day, if they have your back, encourage you and support you, that's
yeah.
Obviously it helped you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It helped me. My dad was in, and same thing. He encouraged me the whole time.
Yeah.
And, they're just great mentors, especially when your dad's been in the Army. I'm sure you bounce stuff off him, and
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's so crazy because I thought okay, well, once I leave my parents' house, people are not the expectations are gonna go because their expectations are high, and I'm thinking okay, well, I'm gone from them. Then here comes my husband. He just said those expectations too, and I'm like, you know what? Y'all need to go somewhere. Are y'all on the same team? You didn't know him before I knew him, and you talked to him or something?
It's like they hired him.
Exactly. I think they did. Yeah, yeah. They definitely paid for that. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you had a cool first base. You got to go to Florida.
I know.
Did that?
People dream of that.
Yeah. I mean, I've had it on my dream sheet, and it took me 16 years.
What?
Yeah, I mean, I've had it on there. I've tried multiple times.
Oh my gosh!
Just because, I don't know, it just sounded cool. It sounded fun.
Right, it sounded hot, but then it gets cold here.
It does, surprisingly.
Yeah.
But it doesn't get blizzard cold like Missouri. My God.
Oh yeah, because you guys get actual snow down there.
Yes, it's brutal.
Yeah.
So this is your first and only assignment.
It is.
And how long have you been stationed here?
I've been here over 4 years. Just in April, I hit 4 years.
Wow, 4 years.
Yeah.
So you got your degree while you were here?
I did, my bachelor's. Yep, I had just.
That's when you finished it out?
Yes.
Okay. And so at that point, were you weighing your options? Should I get out? Should I go for this program?
Absolutely. Well, so with the DECP, I can kind of just go into that and everything.
Yeah, let's just go right into that. What is the DECP?
So the DECP is the Direct Enlisted Commissioning Program. So basically, this is for people who are in the Air Force who already have their bachelor's and have passed their NCLEX, their state boards, basically.
Gotcha.
And so, so I finished the program. I finished my RN in 2016. I joined in 2017, of course. And then, so I've heard about this program. I came to the military, I heard about this program. And so in 2019, I decided that I wanted to try to apply for this program for the following year, that following January. And so knowing I'm pregnant, I'm like 5 or 6 months pregnant. I'm like, you know what, I'm going to start this program. And literally this is an 18-month program that I did an accelerated, I did the acceleration part, that's accelerated option. So basically I did the 18 months and 12 months.
Gotcha.
With a new baby, because I had my baby in March,
Gosh.
And we had bought a house, so we moved, and I don't know how I did it, if I'm being honest. And so that year, that following January, after I graduated in December, I was going to apply to the program, and unfortunately they said they weren't going to have a program. And I'm like, oh my gosh, just hurt,
They weren't going to have it.
They weren't going to have a board.
They weren't going to have a board. Did they say why?
No. Well, actually, they probably did. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't actually recall the exact reasoning, but I'm sure it was probably just funds maybe. I'm not 100%. I can't remember 100%. And so I would never forget my husband, because he'd be on it. Like I said, he'd be on it. And so he's like, he texted me and was like, did you know that they had a board? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, DECP. I'm like, no, they didn't. I'm subscribed to the notifications on my purse and everything. And then I found out, I think it was 13 days later, after the results came out, that they had a board. And I'm like, that was probably.
So that means you didn't even get a chance that time.
No.
Oh my God.
I was hurt. Probably one of the lowest times in my military career. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this could not be happening. Wow,
I can't imagine going through all that work.
Yeah, trying to talk to people, trying to see who I can talk to, and what other ways, because I didn't know. I'm up here asking my leadership, hey, did you guys know this? Because I'm subscribed to this, and they're all like, no, we didn't know either. And I'm like, wow. And that was a really big disappointment for me, because I felt like I failed, but I felt like I wasn't even given the opportunity,
Right.
But
at that moment, what was your decision? Was your decision to press forward and try again? Was your decision to get out after your enlistment?
Yeah. So honestly, I was stuck. Because even at that time, because you just have to do half your enlistment, and then you can, have the option to palace chase, but then also just having my baby, once you have a baby, you have so long to decide if you want to stay in. It's an option for mothers, of course, and so, I looked at every option, but then I looked at also, okay, well, what am I going to make on the outside versus the inside, and also, what is the military gonna, what are they offering me, and so I looked at the pros and cons, wrote out everything, and I decided to stay in and try again, because I really wanted this is since I came in, this was the goal, to become a nurse,
Right.
You know, because I'm already a nurse, so I wanted to work as a nurse in the military because I want to help people.
You want the best of both.
Yeah, exactly. And my goal is to help people who are in the military, you know, whether they're in war zones or whether they're in the hospital. I want to be there to help them, like the people who serve this country. I want to be able to serve them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And so fast forward, stayed in. I actually tried last year, and unfortunately I didn't get it, you know. And
So you made the board that time.
last
right?
year. Yeah, the second time.
So what do you think was worse? Missing the board and being told you didn't get it, or meeting the board and then telling you?
They're both terrible.
They're both terrible?
I think missing the board, because at that time I wasn't even given the opportunity.
Right.
You know, I'm not gonna say I wasn't given the opportunity, but the opportunity wasn't there for me.
Right.
If that makes sense. And so I think so with me being able to get the board and being told no, I'm able to adjust my package. You know, I'm able to know what I messed up on, where I can do better at, if that makes sense.
Right, like you have some feedback potentially.
Feedback, exactly.
Like you can kind of examine like what you did and kind of tweak it going forward. Mm-hmm. Okay. So after that second attempt that did not work out, where were you like mentally when you didn't see yourself selected?
So at that time, I was like, okay, well, I can just get out and go make more money, because at that time, you know, it's COVID. People are paying crazy money and things like that. But I also knew that, I have a family, I have a baby, that I can't just be a travel nurse like that, especially with my husband's job. And so I decided to extend, because once again, I'm like, you know what, overall, I do want to be a nurse in the military, you know.
So like the spark came back.
It did. Yeah.
How long did that take?
It was definitely less than a month. I mean, I went back and forth on my decision to extend or get out. It was definitely less than a month. And, you know, just having my family to support me, my husband, and just being able to see, because, I talked to my husband, I talked to my family, I talked to my brother-in-law, he's also in the Army, and just understanding that just because a man says no, you know, the first and second time doesn't mean that it's a no for God. You know, maybe I'm not ready for it. And if I'm being honest, I'm glad that, obviously I'm not glad that, of course there's more money and things like that. But since being enlisted, I've been able to meet awesome people.
Right.
I've been able to I have friends who I will forever have, you know, so, and also just the experience of just basically, I say this all the time, just starting from the bottom, and now I'm here, you know?
I love that phrase.
You know?
I live by that.
Yeah, exactly. And so, obviously, I would have wanted to come in a different way, but I don't regret it. Like,
right.
I'm grateful for my enlisted time. I'm grateful for the people I've met, the bonds I've created. I never would have met you.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah.
And recently I became a part of the first sorority, Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and if I was somewhere else, I wouldn't be able to join the chapter here, you know? And so just being able to make those bonds, build sisterhood, you know, just build relations with everyone around me, I'm just grateful for that.
So like and I think I told you this before, but what surprised me about you, and like, because we didn't know each other for a while, like
right.
even though we were working together, again, during COVID, there wasn't a lot of, you know,
and I was in the other building
people
too.
would say like, oh, you know, she's a nurse or whatever, and I'm just like, what? And it surprised me because like you just seem so humble, and I think that was a huge part of people cheering for you. You know what I mean? Because like when people are trying to like leave a career field, I'm gonna be honest, it's not typically well received. Even if it's best for you and it's this huge goal, someone trying to leave is usually not well received, right? But for you, it was the opposite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's what I was like really happy to see, like everyone encouraging you, everyone cheering you on, and you got progressively better as time went on, right? Like you went to the Honor Guard, crushed it there, which super proud of you for that.
Thank you.
You were an annual award winner. So like you did you just kept getting better. It was like a snowball, just getting bigger and better as time goes on. You know what I mean? Most people can't do that. Most people get a setback and they're they struggle with maintaining, yet alone getting better.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was hoping you could just give me some insight as to how you not only maintained but got progressively better as time went on, even in the face of failure.
I would definitely say that there was a time in my life where I just saw like, okay, I'm like narrow-minded, I'm like, all right, this is my goal, I'm going to get to it. But, what I've learned is to look more at the bigger picture, just to see the bigger picture of what you're trying to get, where you're trying to get and how you're going to get there. It's not knowing how to get there, it's knowing your why and why you want to get there and what are you going to do, how are you going to make a difference, once you do get there. And just also, you need that support system as well. You got to have someone who's going to pull you up when you're down. Because if I didn't have that, I'd probably still be down to this day. But just having people that support you, who uplift you, who pray for you, who pray for your success, and who want the success as much as you do, then that helps to, it helped me to keep going.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, because like without my husband, like for sure, him being there to, pick me up even when I didn't even want to be picked up. There were times I'm like, what, no, I just want to give up, But with him, he was able to just, there were times I feel like he probably carried me,
Wow.
Yeah, and my family, like I said, they're very supportive, and even, my leadership, they're very supportive as well. And also just having, good family. I say family is just friends who become family,
Right.
and just encouraging you and motivating you. And, and it also goes to good supervisors too. As I mentioned earlier, like Sergeant Jackson, Sergeant Allen, they push me to a point to where I can't go, I can't be down, I can't
Right.
fail. And it's the same way with my husband as well. And also my biggest joy is also my baby. Just being able to, I want to be that person to him to where he's like, oh, well, my mommy did this, my mommy did that. I want to do better. So that's the goal. We want our kids to surpass where we are. And so I need him to like become a doctor or something, I need him to like retire his mom real early.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to buy you a house.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I think your optimism was like contagious.
Thank you.
Yeah, like, your smile, your optimism,
you.
your energy that you bring. Like, it's really easy to like get down on yourself. Like in the office, you've even seen people get stagnant or get bombarded with COVID work or whatever the case may be. But you always seem to like keep the momentum and the energy going.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and I'm serious. That's a huge reason why I think people are drawn to you. So keep doing that.
Thank you.
Keep being that person. And for me, my impression of you, I know you were winning awards when I first met you. You were coined. You know what I mean? Like that's a pretty good first impression. You know what I'm saying? And then you were annual award winner, and then I just kept hearing all these great things about you, that you were this nurse and all these things. But then what surprised me the most was like when you were working with me in the food section and we were short staffed, you were like running around like it wasn't, even though you had all these accomplishments and you could be this officer potentially, it didn't get to your head. Like you were still like, you were a senior airman at the time. And I would never, ever have known that you did all those things. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you were so humble about it that, like, I was like, is that her? Is that her? Is that the person that's kicking ass? Because you were so humble about it.
Thank you.
And you were just working your tail off, doing all the food inspections. It's all hot outside. You're sweating. GOV's not working.
Oh my gosh, that's the worst.
Mosquito trapping.
You remember that time? I took at that picture. Wait.
Yeah.
Remember you went and helped us out that one time?
Yeah, like I went down into the creek.
Gosh, yeah, you did. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that was the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, that was good.
No, but I appreciate that. Just like even you just coming, because a senior airman who had seen the good and the bad, being older. I appreciate a senior NCO just coming and being there, being willing to help, being willing to do this, because as a senior NCO, there are certain things that I'm not gonna say you're not required to do, but it's more like not airman duty, but I don't want to say that, but you know what I'm saying. But like, just you being able to like just get dirty, go down to the get this water, do this experiment with me, because of course that was fresh water.
Yeah,
we ended up catching 0 mosquitoes.
I remember that. Yes.
So I appreciate just you showing me that view, because it does, like for me, it definitely helped, and also I'm sure that for other people around, they really appreciate it, and it helped them too to see that the senior NCO doesn't mind getting dirty.
I appreciate that.
No, seriously.
I didn't think I'd ever make it to this point, so I think I still don't really quite see myself like that. Like I just care, and I just want to do a good job and make things better.
Absolutely.
So like I never had the ego of a senior NCO because I never thought I'd be one. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but like even after sewing on, I'm still not like. I'm still me.
That's good.
You know what I mean?
I appreciate that. I mean, obviously, I don't know you from when you were, Tech Sergeant Malo, but even as a Master Sergeant, I appreciate just your humbleness and your willingness to help others, to pour into others. You poured into me, especially with my package, and just give me that feedback that I needed to get me to where I am now. Anytime that I think of where I'm about to be, like, of course you come up,
wow.
So.
But I don't, what, I'm so glad that I was there. I feel like God just put us together so I could give that extra little nudge.
Oh, absolutely.
But 99.99% was you working your tail off for years.
Yeah.
I just don't want you to forget that.
Thank you.
What I'm saying? I was a 0.1% at the end, but you were the 99.99% for the whole time.
You got me there to that 100 though, seriously.
Hey.
And I'm forever grateful for that, and I would tell anybody about you any day, seriously.
Risk-taking is a superpower.
It is.
It is. Like when you know when to, like it was worth the risk, because I knew you were so valuable to keep in the Air Force.
Thank you.
I don't care if they yell at me for, jumping the entire chain of command.
The entire chain. Oh my God.
I skipped the squadron. I skipped the group.
Everybody.
I skipped the wing. I skipped the numbered Air Force.
Everybody.
But I was willing to take that hit because I knew what was on the line. And I weighed it. Is the juice worth the squeeze?
Yeah.
It was.
And I'm grateful for that, because, when I think about why I stayed in, like, of course, there's all these other reasons, but I had to include you too. Just somebody, which I'm not saying people didn't believe in me, because that's definitely not what I'm saying, but just having you to believe in me and to go that extra mile, that's just something that people can talk about, but actually doing it, putting like people can, they can talk the talk, but can they walk the walk? And you have walked the walk, and I'm just grateful.
No, that was one of the, if that's probably my proudest senior NCO moment, if I'm being honest with you, because like everything that I went through and to get to this point, to be able to help you in that capacity, that brought me a lot of joy too.
Thank you.
It really did. It felt like it was part of my purpose and my plan to kind of pour into you and make sure you were still here kicking ass. You know what I mean? So that was really special.
And honestly, at that time, I was like, I was when we talked for the first time, and you asked, what do you need to do? At that time, I was down. If that makes sense. And at the time, I was tired of like talking to people about like, okay, well, what happened? And it's like, oh, it's just the same thing. Just having to explain to people over and over, like, what happened? I didn't get it. And so, at that time, like, I didn't mind talking about it, but I was down. But even just your energy and your aura just, it just made me just open up and just tell you, everything,
Right. That's, yep. Yeah, it's like I was a podcaster or something, right?
All right, maybe. So, like I say, so even your energy, I'm just thankful for that too.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Seriously.
I think we were just meant to be friends.
Absolutely.
So we got my man mopping here. The lights are coming off. So before we cut out, because I think they closed 10 minutes ago, but that's okay.
Oh, yeah.
Before we cut out of here, let's talk about what recently happened. What was the good news you heard, and what's to come in the future?
All right. So recently got accepted to DECP.
You got accepted.
I got accepted.
You did it.
I got accepted, you guys. And so I recently...
She did it, y'all.
We did it. It's
She
no...
did.
Me and my team, me and my support system, we all did it. And
It was a family.
absolutely.
There was a lot of positive energy behind you.
Oh,
You know
absolutely.
what I mean? That was a ton. Oh, my
Absolutely.
God. It was a beautiful thing to see. It really was.
It was awesome.
And then to see you get it, it was like, I felt it. Like, I felt like the good news was coming.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
You know when you can just feel it, that something good is about to happen?
You know what else happened, though? Your mama prayers.
Yeah.
And on
thank
that
you,
church
Mom.
list. Thank you, Miss White, seriously, for putting me on the prayers list.
Yes, my mom Barb put her on the prayer list in South Carolina, and she really did do it. She sent me a message and said, "Hey, she's on the prayer list. Like the church, the community's praying for her."
Thank you.
So we're just
Community.
we're trying to get any positive vibe we possibly
We were
could.
really,
Yeah.
seriously.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I got accepted, and here soon in October, I'll be heading to OTS and at Maxwell Air Force Base in Alabama. It's an 8 or 9 week program, and then after that I go to NTP, and then I'll be headed to my first base. Well, actually I head to my first base before that, before OTS, because I'm doing a DDA, and that's actually the exact opposite of a regular commissioning person. But yeah, so that's what I'm gonna be doing, and Travis is my first base, so I'm excited about that.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So I guess this is kind of an obvious question I should have asked. When you found out, how did that go down, and how did you feel?
When I found out, listen, I was asleep. I'm sorry. So my husband, he was getting ready to deploy, and it's so crazy how God works, because he was supposed to, so I found out that towards the end of the month, the end of April, and he was supposed to deploy the beginning of April. But there were setbacks and things like that, so he didn't leave until the day after I found out.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
So crazy. So
it's like he was there to celebrate with you.
basically, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I'm asleep, and so I'm on leave. I'm trying to spend time with him, so I'm sleeping. Like, people are calling me. They're like, "Congratulations!" I'm like, I'm rolling out of bed, and our chief nurse at Eglin, he was there to also say his congrats too. I'm like, I'm still asleep. And I'm like, damn, but also I'm like screaming. Well, once I realized what they're talking about, I'm like screaming. I put the phone down, and I get away on the phone. That's when Chief Jones, he's on there, and he's like, "Congratulations," and all the other things he said. And I'm like, is this Colonel Jones? He was like, "Yes, ma'am." I'm like, oh my gosh. That's the only thing. When I'm surprised, I always say, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh."
Now that you mentioned it, I did hear that a lot.
Yeah, that's my oh my gosh. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So after that, I'm up,
Right.
And so my husband, he comes home, and I'm like sitting on the stairs. I'm like, oh, guess what? He's like, and thing is, I couldn't even play him, because I'm like, the results came out. He was like, "You made it." I was like, oh my God, yeah, I made it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he believed in me. He it's like he knew too, and even with him. So last year, this is like one of the last things I'll say, but even last year, I could see a big difference just in the package, even with the questions, because last year I tried to answer more like the Air Force. I thought I answered what I want the Air Force answer.
Gotcha.
What I thought they wanted to answer. But thank God for my husband. He's like, "No, you need to tell me your story. You need to tell me this. You need to." When I say I rewrote, I never wrote probably so much in my life, but I rewrote. He had me rewriting it was 5 questions. I think it ended up being like 2 or 3 pages.
Wow.
Not double space.
So you were just like, I'm putting it all out there.
All out there. Yeah.
And that transparency worked.
Oh, absolutely. And for anybody who's, in the future looking for that, I tell them that, just because that's what they know. Those questions, there's like 5 questions, I believe, but those questions is what's going to help set you apart, because other than that, they don't know you. They see your package, but let them know. Let them know how you kept trying. Let them know how you were resilient. Let them see your perseverance of what you're willing to do to get to where you want to be. Because a lot of times, in the Air Force, I should say, from what I've heard, you don't always get it the first time. you know,
Right.
on certain things. You know, of course, a lot of things you do, but there are some things you don't get the first time. So, you know, just always use your story to tell people and to hopefully make a difference.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. So, as we come to a close here,
Okay.
is there anything that you haven't shared that you wanted to make sure you said?
I would say to anybody who is wanting to give up, to just always weigh out your pros and cons. That's what I've learned, is to literally write down my pros, write down my cons. You know,
You actually wrote them out.
yeah.
Like at what point would you write those out? Like in what stage of the process? Is this after you found out you didn't make it? Is it when you are trying to figure out where you want to go in life?
Yeah. I mean, I use it with life things too. You know,
Okay.
yeah, definitely. But if you're stuck between, if you have a dilemma, just always okay. You know, don't just be like, don't. You know, sometimes don't go asking other people too. Sometimes you have to make that decision for yourself, for your family. You know, it's not because other people are not going to be able to live the decision. It's going to be you that's living it. And so my advice is to always weigh out your pros and cons, and rather you know, persevere on the outside of the military or the inside of the military. Just make sure that you give it your all, give it your best, and always just show compassion to people, be kind to people, because especially in the world that we live in, you just never know who you're going to come back across. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true. And, okay, final question.
Okay.
You got an airman out there who just found out he or she did not make the list. They just want to quit. They're like, you know what? I have my degree. I did everything right. I checked every box, and they want to give up. What would you tell that person to encourage them that they should not give up?
I would definitely just let them know, like, you know, don't look at the small picture. Don't look at the now. Think about your bigger picture and what you can do and how you can change, and just the perspective that people have on the no's. You know, you can be that change with your, you know, just because they tell you no one time or 2 times or 3 times doesn't mean that it's going to be no every time. So just, you know, use your time to pout, punch, be mad, whatever you're going to do, but just make sure that you are willing and ready to get back up to continue to fight, continue to, and not fight, like, you know, fight, but to continue to go to get to that next level of where you need to be to get to where you want to go. You know, because a lot of times when people tell us no, it really does help to build character. And, you know, and your no's could be a testimony for somebody else to hear in the future, to where, you know, they're not making, I'm not going to say the same mistake, but they're not getting that same no, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so, you know, don't give up. Be optimistic, and definitely just, you know, just show that perseverance and just show that you are a badass, you know?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Show up for yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what my shirt says. Not this one.
Oh.
I switched it right before I came here because
Okay.
it was too tight, because I'm
Gotcha.
getting too swole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Games.
Yeah. But, hey, Price, this is what I want to tell you. I want to tell you that you have blown me away since day one.
Thank you.
Yeah, the way you carry yourself, how humble you are, your optimism, your energy, even when people are bummed out or upset or stagnant, you seem to always, like, light up the room.
Thank
you. You know,
you.
when you come in.
Thank you.
The relationship you have with your husband, the way you love your child, the relationship with your parents. I mean, there's so much about you that's incredible. Seeing you with your friends, like when we were at the Lieutenant Colonel Del Holmes promotion ceremony, like, you're even picked for that. Like, you're just, you know what I mean? And then seeing how you interact with her, who's also an incredible person.
Absolutely.
Just your whole circle of friends, and it's just like, wow. Like, I think you're just such a great example of being happy and successful. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you could have one without the other.
I agree.
But you seem to have both. And so I'm just so glad that I met you. Even
Likewise.
if, and I'm so impressed by you, and I'm so happy that I could provide that 0.1% to keep you, because you're a freaking rock star.
Thank you.
You're what we need. We need more sergeant, soon to be lieutenant. Is it lieutenant or captain? Or
No, just lieutenant.
Lieutenant. Okay. I don't know. Sometimes they jump to that. I don't know how that works. But yeah, you're going to be Lieutenant Price.
I'm excited. I'm just excited to share my story with others, you know, like, rather people, whether it's a young airman or somebody, I'm just ready to be, just to let them know, in a humble way, like I was once where you were, you know, and you can get what you want. You just have to put in the work,
Yeah, and not take no for an answer.
Not take no for an answer.
Yeah, because you didn't. You definitely did not take no for an answer. Like, you would just come back stronger.
Thank you.
Yeah, which was like so inspiring to see.
Thank you.
So yeah, everybody. Hey, this is Sergeant Deandra Price, soon to be Lieutenant Price. We're so proud of her, and we're so thankful for you guys to be watching. We hope you enjoyed it. Oh, look, Fred Allen. He put the guns. Look at that. Hey, what's up, Sergeant Allen?
That's my supervisor.
Hey, let's give a shout out to Sergeant Allen.
Sergeant Allen. Shout out to Sergeant Allen, Sergeant Fred Allen. He downrange. He fighting enemies.
He is. And Sergeant Allen, he's also one of my favorite people here. Yeah, like when I think of like family in the military, like you're talking about, I think about him.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Have you
like,
met his family? You got to meet his wife.
I met his kids.
Oh, his kids. They're so sweet. And his wife is so sweet too.
I don't think I met his wife. I need to meet his wife though.
She's awesome. Seriously.
But let's see. Come on now, let's go. Oh, he's live.
Come on now.
Come on now. Our boy is live. No, man, we miss you. We miss you so much, man. Again, like your family, man. Just that dude's family. I don't know. He just makes you feel like family.
He does.
Seriously. I don't know how he does that. But Sergeant Allen, you're one
aura.
of the. Yeah, you're
family too. Like that's my cuz.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm jealous that I didn't get to know him longer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was drawn to him like day one. I was like, this dude's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, he is awesome. And you are awesome, man. We're very proud of you for being out there protecting us back here. We wish you well, man. You're in our thoughts. If there's anything, literally anything that we can do for you, please let us know, my man. We got your back, and we hope to see you back soon and healthy, reunited with your family.
Absolutely.
But while you're there, kick ass. You keep kicking ass like I know you are. You got this. You got this.
He's going to be in California with me too.
Is he?
I don't know. I'm just speaking into existence.
Do it. I mean, you spoke a lot of things. You apparently have that superpower. You know what I'm saying? Just keep throwing it. Just throw it out there.
Okay.
It's 04:30.
I appreciate you.
Oh. Yeah. That's a heart.
That's a heart, yeah.
That's the heart beating. All right, well, you ready to get out of here?
I'm ready.
Yeah, they were mopping and turning the lights off, and yeah, I think we have to get going now. So to everyone who watched, thank you so much. We love y'all.
Thank you.
And we're so thankful that you watched. We're thankful for you for spending time with us in the Team Hero front. You're a shining example of just what success and happiness looks like. I could not say enough great things about you.
Thank you.
Keep kicking ass, and don't forget the people behind you. Pull them up too.
Absolutely.
All right?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
I like it.
All right.